How's it going, boys? And today we're gonna make another tier list guide video, and this one is gonna be about mid laners because someone or one particular person told me to do this. And yeah, I actually listen to my viewers because yeah, I do that, by the way. Anyways, so we're gonna do it a little bit differently. So as you can tell that I'm in the Dota 2 client. Now I usually do it on the website that gives you the Dota 2 list of heroes, but it's kind of shit because they don't include all of the heroes and it's kind of outdated. I can't be arsed to like do it the proper way, so I'm just gonna do it like this. Okay, so starting off with all the mid laners. Now we're gonna only include mid laners that I personally think is legit. If I don't think it's legit, it's not gonna be on here. Okay, so stop playing fucking mid CM and mid techies because that shit is not legit in my opinion. Now, okay, first of all, let's classify as what mid laners are considered legit and what are not. Number one, if you're a mid laner, you have to be able to somewhat decently be either extremely impactful in the mid game or you're going to be the win condition of your team. And if that doesn't happen, you're not a mid hero, in my opinion. And two, you cannot be like... You have to be able to win or go even in most mid matchups, unless if you have like a pulling like a one trick pony kind of shit going on with like Alk. Like you're gonna lose your lane, but then you're gonna farm and just win the game. Okay, that is the only time where I say it's acceptable to like lose the lane, like very badly. So yeah. These are the tiers. I'm not even gonna say the name because obvious reasons, but let's do it. So first one, Abaddon. Now Abaddon mid lane is actually in nerd tier. Why do I say this? So Abaddon's the first hero in Dota, as we all know, and the cool thing about Abaddon is that you can go mid if you buy like Radiance and shit like that. It actually is kind of legit. And the thing about your shield is that you actually counter a lot of heroes who normally go mid that would stomp in the mid lane. So let's say you're up against a Batrider mid, which is very common. And Batrider mid usually counters most heroes like Storm, TA, basically like most heroes, Ember Spirit, like most of those spirit heroes, most of your generic mid lane heroes gets fucked by Batrider because of the sticky napalm. But Abaddon, no, you're good. And a lot of the times you can sustain, get bottle radiance, and you become like very farmed. You're basically like an Alk. And Abaddon kind of becomes unkillable in the mid game as well. Next up we got Alchemist. Now Alchemist, I'll be honest guys, is honestly 2 IQ tier. Now he's not that bad in the way that he's like the top of the top 2 IQ tier. The reason why Alk is so low, even though I play him so much, you guys probably wonder like, why do I rank this hero so low every time I play? It's because the amount of torture you have to go through playing Alk is fucking insane. Because the thing about Alk is that your carry needs to actually like not fucking farm and not have like low IQ. So you can't have an anti-mage, you can't have PA, you can't have like, you know, like the farming carries. Like Spectre is okay, but like anything more is like not okay. So, you know, you want like Juggernauts, Ursas, Monkey Kings on your team or Drow Rangers, because Drow's actually really good with Elk, surprisingly. We need those kind of heroes. Next up we got Axe. Now Axe I don't think is a legit mid laner, not because I don't think he's legit. I do think Axe has great mid game potential and can carry the game. The only problem with Axe is that there's just a better option for him. He can just go in the off lane. Because why would you go Axe mid if you can go off lane? But if you wanted to, I'll probably put him in the 2 IQ tier. Next up, we got Beastmaster. Now, Beastmaster, I personally think Beastmaster is a dead hero currently. Because as I already did on my strength hero guide. Now, I'm not going to explain way too in depth, because then I'm just going to be repeating myself for everything. So, Beastmaster, you're probably in the 2 IQ tier. Now, I do think he's legit, because you could go for the Ags build. But he's not as good as before. And he does have the solo kill potential at level 6 with his roar. So that's also like kind of viable, but not really. So we got Brewmaster. Brewmaster is a weird one. I've seen people play Brewmaster, but I don't think like You know what? Most offlaners you can actually play in the mid lane. So I'm just gonna say Brewmaster is bottom tier, like shit tier fucking mid laner right here. Next up we got Bristleback. Now Bristleback, believe it or not, guys, is actually fucking sim tier. I play Bristol mid. I didn't think Bristol mid was that good because I thought he would get kited in the mid game. But the thing about Bristol mid is that the only thing Bristol needs ever is XP. And you know what mid lane gives you? It gives you a shit ton of XP. So once you have all that XP, man, I can't even fucking talk properly. Once you get all that XP, you are literally unkillable, and you just buy like Vanguard and you just run around not dying and gooing everyone and punching people for smacking them for like 2000 HP and running around like Sonic. Next we got Centaur. Centaur is not a legit mid hero, so do not play Centaur mid. And then we got CK. Now CK is actually okay in mid lane. He's probably above Axe, but like CK is more of a carry hero. Now because his laning stage is very strong, he's a very early game fighter with his stun and like pull. He could be playing mid, and CK does rely heavily on XP as well, so he could go mid lane. Next up we got Clockwork. Now Clockwork I don't think is a legit mid laner, so you should not play Clockwork, mainly because he's just like shit. His abilities are very minimal. Like you should not play Clockwork mid. Just play anything mid. Play like CK mid if you want. Next up we got Dawnbreaker. This is a weird one. I think Dawnbreaker has potential. I'm gonna put her like somewhere here. Now, it is ranked from left to right as in best to worst. So, yeah. Dawnbreaker has potential, although I just don't understand why you would want to pick Dawnbreaker mid. It just kind of doesn't make sense to me. But, you know, she does have some potential. Doom mid is actually a nerd tier. Now, Doom mid, I personally think that Doom just farms too fast. Like, you're always going to be farmed no matter what. And you can go jungle, you can get cool neutral creep abilities that help you win the lane. Like, especially with the bat that zaps people. And, you know, you just get, like, double Midas. You're super farmed. You have ability that, like, solo kills enemy mid laner most of the time. Once you're 6 with, like, any support from your position 4. Sometimes you can solo kill them. So it's, like, really, really strong. Definitely a viable. Next up, we got DK. DK, I want to say he's nerd tier, but I actually think he's sim tier. Because he's very reliable, guys. As you can see, like Alchemist, you cannot first pick Alch. You can pretty much first pick DK and you're fine. You can literally first phase it and it's absolutely okay. You're gonna get like the worst matchups like Viper and Huskar, and even then, because your stun got buffed, you can most of the time like do okay and you can roam around. Your spells are always good. You have a good stun, reliable. You're tanky in the early game. You have a nuke. You're just like overall like decent hero. So very consistent. That's what I think makes good heroes in Dota, okay? If you're picking Meepo every game and you're just getting countered because they have Elder Titan and fucking Underlord, like, I don't know, man. Yeah. I guess a really good Meepo could play around that. Earth Spirit, I don't think Earth Spirit mid is legit because he doesn't really farm and he's kind of weird. Like, just play him as position 4. Same thing with Earthshaker. Yes, you could go Earthshaker mid lane. I honestly think Earthshaker is more of a carry than Earth Spirit just because you can go the Totem Smash build. I'll put him above Brewmaster for that, but he's very shit on the mid lane heroes. You just don't play him mid. But if you wanted to, this is where he would belong. Next up, we got Elder Titan. Elder Titan is kind of niche. I want to put Elder Titan at the near the top of the bottom here, because against like a Meepo mid lane, you could actually pick Elder Titan and reliably win mid and just like carry the game. Because Elder Titan could become a fucking devastating carry. Mainly because he smacks people for 100% of the damage because they just have 0 armor most of the time. Unless if they're a strength hero. Now Huskar, I think Huskar is a sim tier hero, but I'm going to put him near the bottom. The reason being is that he could get fucked super hard by like Viper and Necro and like heroes that burst them, like AA. But generally, if you're a good Huskar player, you have a decent matchup, somewhat decent matchup. Even if you have a bad matchup, something can come out on top. And if you're really good at armlet toggling, then understanding your like power spikes, you can be very strong. IO mid is not legit. Do not play IO mid. Please do not play IO mid. Kunkka mid. Kunkka mid is somewhere here. I think it's above DK. The reason being for mid laners is because Kunkka mid generally with DK you get countered by some heroes. With Kunkka, a lot of the heroes that counters DK really hard doesn't counter Kunkka as hard, such as like Razor, Viper, and Huskar, because you can clear the wave way faster and you don't need mana to do it. So you just like W the wave and yeah, it's pretty fucking strong. Now, these two are kind of like go hand in hand. I'm going to put Kunkka slightly above, but they're basically the same. If they're on the same tier, guys, they're basically the same. So, just so you know, especially if they're right beside each other. Next up, we got Legion. Legion, in my opinion, is actually somewhere around sim tier, guys. It's actually very good. I think Legion's just a good hero. She can be a carry, she could be a mid laner, she could be an off laner. Same thing as Abaddon, but just better. I would put Legion at second place, actually. It's too good. The duel's too good. Lifestealer is not a mid laner. You should not play Lifestealer mid. If you do, he will be at the way bottom. Lycan used to be good. Now Lycan mid is like... I want to say Lycan mid is still legit. He's a decent laner, actually. He doesn't win his lane, but he does okay. He starts farming pretty fast. He gets a very strong power spike at level 6. So I want to say he's like viable, but he used to be like simp tier. Now without necro books, he's like the bottom of nerd tier. Magnus mid is probably somewhere around here. Now, Mag is very strong. Free cleave, free farming. You know, if you have a melee carry, you definitely pick Mag mid a lot of times, because then you just buff your PA or Jug and they just get a free Battle Fury. But otherwise, like, Mag mid kind of AFK farms too much, and a lot of times the Mag just farms too much. And he becomes like a Sven. But you don't want a Sven mid, do you? Now, I play Sven mid, and I think Sven mid is legit. Which is why, next up, we're going to go with Mars. Mars is a weird one. Mars is actually sim tier, guys. Mars mid is actually very legit. Same with NizeYourself mid. These two heroes go hand in hand. They are actually very potent in the mid lane. Believe it or not, I play both of these heroes mid. And they once they have some XP, they can, especially NizeYourself, ganks like a... ganks so fucking hard. He is so scary at the first night. And you kill like everyone. Your Void does like half the support's HP. You hit them like twice, they're dead. Mars is like the same thing. You can solo kill anyone with your combo most of the time. Omni-Knight's not a carry. Phoenix mid lane is actually nerd tier, bottom nerd tier. Phoenix carry is legit. I've seen people done it. You do insane damage and it's just too strong. Yeah. We got Pudge mid. Pudge is not a mid hero. If you want to play Pudge mid, just stop because it's not fucking 2013. Sand King mid against Meepo or like Brood, maybe it's viable, but it's very niche. I would say Sand King's like at the bottom because he's too niche. Like, why not just play him in the off lane again? Next up, we got Slaughter mid. I don't think Slaughter mid is good at all. This thing is shit because you got no wave clear. You're gonna get fucked. Snapfire mid is somewhere nerd tier, bottom of nerd tier, I think. She does have a lot of burst in the mid game, and she has quite a bit of magic damage, and she has a very unique ability that allows her to do a decent amount of damage with burst. Next we got SB. SB is not a legitimate hero. Like, people only play him mid for the memes. Now Sven mid is basically the same as Mag without the RP. And he farms a bit more. I would say Sven's probably somewhere like here. Sven mid. I play Sven mid. It's legit. You farm really fast and you push the wave. Tidehunter mid could be okay. I want to say Tidehunter mid is like right here because maybe behind Doom. He is unstunnable a lot of the times and you could play him decently against some matchups like Broodmother again and stuff like that. Next up we got Timbersaw. Timbersaw is by far sim tier. Timbersaw is very strong. I want to say Timbersaw is probably somewhere here. Just because how impactful he is in the mid game and how tanky he could be. And a lot of times, if you don't get hard countered in the mid lane, you can do so much shit with Timbersaw. Tiny mid lane is probably like the top of nerd tier. The reason for that being is because Tiny mid lane, he has his like little burst, but then he falls off. But it's kind of perfect in a way because he has carry potential in the late game with his like damage, but he also has the early game burst that you need to be impactful in the early game. Next up we got Tusk. Treant, these are not legit. Underlord is like somewhere here. Probably bottom of nerd tier. He is legit still, but not like too legit. Maybe he's like here, actually. I lied. Alk is probably on top of the Underlord. Yeah. Next to Undying's not legit. Wraith King mid is probably fucking here. Like, he's like very shit. He's worse than... He's probably like right here. Yeah, that's about right. Maybe Sand King's like here. Yeah, that's about right. I'm not even gonna explain why. Anti-Mage, yeah, just... Nah, you're not gonna play Anti-Mage mid. Arc Warden mid... Probably somewhere here. He's like Alk, but you're ranged and you do decent, better in lane. So he's probably better than like... He's probably somewhere here. You farm too much, man. You're not impactful in mid game. But again, you cannot have like... I can't rank this guy higher because of how this hero works. But he's just like more reliable laner than Alk is most of the time. Most of the time. Next up, we got Bloodseeker. Bloodseeker is actually like bottom of sim tier. Like, he's super strong mid. He's a super strong laner. He has so much sustain, and he does a lot of damage and counters a lot of heroes actually that get fucked by Bloodseeker. Now, there is a lot of heroes that don't give a shit about Bloodseeker, but I feel like there's more that do. Bounty Hunter mid is kind of niche. I want to say Bounty Hunter mid is somewhere like on the bottom, like somewhere like here. Steal gold, do damage, track people, but you know, kind of shit. Next up, we got Brood. Brood is kind of niche. I'll say Brood is like niche. So, but she's really strong this patch. Probably somewhere here, above Huskar, I would say. Yeah, this is about right. Next, we got Clinks or Clinkaroonies. Now, Clinks used to be strong, but kind of squishy. Even though, yeah, you get your ult and you're tanky, but you're still squishy. So I would say Clinks is somewhere like right over here, maybe. Like, he does decent. He can actually pack a punch to a lot of the intel heroes, but against like strength heroes, yeah, you're not doing too much, are you? Drow Ranger mid. It's like, why would you play Drow mid if you can play Clinks mid? Now, there are some really good matchups for Drow, so I don't want to disregard her. It's probably somewhere there. Ember is, you know, Ember is Ember, man. He's just good overall. He's mobile. He does mid-game damage. Probably somewhere here. I want to put him above Kunkka, but under Timbersaw. Somewhere there is pretty good. You know, just fucking Ember things, man. Ember doing Ember things. We got Faceless Void, not legit mid laner. Gyro. Gyro is probably like bottom of nerd tier, I would say. Actually, Gyro's even worse. Probably somewhere here. You know, fucking Gyro. You got decent burst damage, but you're fucking Gyro. Hoodwink is kind of shit, man. I really don't like Hoodwink mids. Because I feel like... yeah, she can do a lot, but she's so squishy. And there's just better alternatives. Probably like here. Most of these heroes lose to Alk, besides like Bounty Hunter. Next up, we got Lone Druid. Lone Druid is actually sim tier. Super strong mid laner. Probably somewhere here. You could do so much with Lone Druid. And the thing about Lone Druid is that your bear, sometimes you can just chase them down with the bear. And if you're like up against a Zeus or something, you just kill them. Juggernaut. Oh, I forgot Juggernaut, right? Juggernaut's probably somewhere around the mag range. Somewhere like here, probably. Yeah, along with like Sven Lycan. We got Luna. Luna mid is like probably, she got decent. Yeah, she's like fucking here, man. It's not that good. Medusa mid. Medusa mid is probably the top of nerd tier, just because she needs too much farm, but she's a little bit more reliable in a way, and she's tanky. So the snake is really good in the mid lane. Meepo is weird. I think the thing about Huskar is that Huskar could be killed because he's a single target hero and he can be countered by like Vessel and stuff. Brood is like weird, but Meepo, man, I actually want to play Meepo here. He's hard to play, but yo, a good Meepo player is very scary, guys. Don't underestimate Meepo. Morana mid is probably somewhere like here, bottom of mid tier, because like, there's a fucking Morana, man. She just shoots arrows and do nothing. Monkey King mid. Monkey King mid used to be good. Man, this hero used to be good, bro. It's probably like in front of like Abaddon. But I don't know anymore because they changed the way how you play Monkey King. You're not that strong in the first couple levels now. Morphling mid could be legit. Morphling mid is probably like right under Medusa there. I think Morphling mid is very legit. Morphling is so strong against a lot of heroes. Naga Siren is just not legit. Nyx Assassin mid, very niche. Probably somewhere around here. But like decent too at the same time. Pretty good. Can I move these things? I want to readjust some of these things here. I'm not sure if I can. Yes, I can. Okay. So, next up, we're going to speedrun this. Pangolier mid. Viable, actually. Decently impactful. Probably somewhere, like, behind Tiny, I would say. Actually, Pangolier is probably more impactful than Medusa. PA. Yeah, PA is not a mid laner. PL, bottom of fucking shit tier. Razor, definitely very strong against every melee hero, basically winning the lane. I want to say Razor is probably somewhere here above Timbersaw for sure. Ricky Maru, oh man, people play Ricky, man, so shit, such a bad mid laner. Do not play Ricky mid. I'm gonna put it in the last place just so people understand. Shadow Fiend is actually kind of shit, dude. Now he is good against some mid laners, melee heroes. I want to put him at the bottom of S tier. Because there are some matchup where he's good, but there's a lot of matchup where he's shit. Yeah. Next up we got Slark. Slark, man, dude, Slark is like the worst version of Monkey King. I guess you can dispel stuff, so it's kind of niche. So maybe like bottom of like some tier. Sniper. Sniper is weird. Sniper used to be a generic mid hero. Now he's kind of weird now. In a weird position. Probably put him at like 4th place right here. Because he's in a weird position right now. And what else is there? Spectre. Spectre is not a mid laner. As for TA, I think TA is better than SF. She farms really fast, and now she got buffed. So if you don't get like Viper or Huskard, you can actually do pretty well. I'll say she's more reliable than Ember, especially in the solo queue. Probably better than Meepo actually. Next up, we got Tearblade, not legit mid lane. Troll Warlord. This is weird. Troll is actually legit. Troll is actually very legit. I want to say Troll is more legit than Shadow Fiend. Actually, not. That's a lie. Shadow Fiend is probably somewhere here. Next up, we got Ursa. Ursa is literally the same caliber as Troll Warlord. A little bit under him. Because Ursa does get fucked harder by some of these other heroes, especially ranged heroes. I'm going to put him at, like, behind Sniper here. Next up we got Venge. Actually not. Ursa's way lower. Ursa's probably like here. Next up we got Venge. Venge is like not really good, to be honest. Probably somewhere like here. Where's my Venge? Right here. Put her somewhere here. I'm not even gonna bother. Like the mid area, they're all shit basically. Next up we got Venomancer. Venomancer and Viper. Venomancer is like straight up somewhere here. I don't even know. Somewhere here. Viper is probably somewhere here. I want to say Viper is like low-key like near the top here. Probably like here. The reason being is because Viper has the ability to push waves. He is really good against most magic mid laners, which is a lot of mid laners that are going to come up in the intel section. A lot of these magic dealers. He's not very mobile, but he does a lot of damage and he can dominate the lane. So, you know, any lane dominator is strong in the mid lane. So, you know, Razor, Viper, these guys have to go near the top. There's like no question. Weaver. Weaver's kind of weird, but probably somewhere like behind Arc Warden, I would say. Next up, we got AA mid. AA mid, it's kind of niche. It's kind of niche, but I think it's legit though. Probably the bottom of nerd tier. That's what I would give it. Bang is not a mid hero. Bat Rider, very reliable in a lot of cases actually. I'm gonna put him like the bottom of actually no, probably right below Shadow Fiend. Very strong against a lot of these heroes. He can kill a lot of these heroes solo. Chen is not a mid laner. CM is not a mid laner. Darkseer is shit. Willow is shit. Dazzle, Dazzle could be okay. It's kind of niche. Same thing with like AA. I'm gonna put Dazzle and AA at like the bottom of the nerd tier. DP is very reliable. Now DP is almost as reliable as DK. I'm gonna put DP in front of DK just because I think DK is reliable in a lot of sense that he's tanking stuff, but DP, she's like the same thing. She has tower pressure, she does good trading and everything, but she doesn't have a stun, but she does better in a lot of matchup that DK would lose to. So DK does okay against most intel heroes besides like OD and stuff. Now DP does pretty much good against every single intel hero because she's ranged with like long range and just like high damage, and she pretty much doesn't get countered the same way that DK does by like Huskar and stuff. So yeah. Disruptor's not legit. Enchantress is like very shit mid laner, honestly, dude. Like, stop playing Enchantress mid. I'm gonna put it like above Ricky and that's it. No stun, just like nothing. You just have damage, that's it. Enigma's not a mid laner. Grim, man, Grim is kind of legit sometimes. If you go Ethereal Grim, he could work. He does a lot of damage, but I'll say he's above like AA and Dazzle, but that's it. Kind of too niche. Because why would you play that if you can just play something like Invoker, you know what I mean? Invoker, if you're a good Invoker player, now, I don't want to put Invoker too high because there's a lot of noobs who play Invoker and I think they're good. You're not fucking, you know, Thompson or whatever. Thompson's not even a good Invoker player. Someone like, what's that one guy who's really good at Invoker? I forgot his name, Sumalia or something like that. Sumaila. I don't know how to say his name. Invoker is actually really strong. I want to say he's under Kunkka. A lot of control in the mid game, a lot of different type of damage. Could scale pretty well into the late game. And just has like a lot of potential if you can play him well. Next up we got Jakiro. Jakiro's weird. Jakiro's up there. Probably above like these heroes too. Right behind Phoenix. That's where I would put Jakiro. Good tower. You have decent tower. You have quite a lot of damage. So yeah. Now Jakiro could be below Grimstroke. These heroes are about the same, guys. Just like FYI. If this hero is above this one, they could like Grim could beat Jakiro mid sometimes, you know? Like it's fine. They don't necessarily mean exactly, but it's more important that they're in different calibers. The tiers are what's more important than rather than the actual like position. So, you know, like if these two are beside each other, doesn't necessarily mean that Snap is always better than Ursa. It just means like overall, like these don't really matter too much, but these matter way more. Next up, we got Lucado, which is not legit. Leshrac. Leshrac counters a lot of illusion heroes. I think Leshrac is probably somewhere like here. Yeah, kind of legit. Maybe like here actually. I think Leshrac has a lot of potential. Better than SF for sure. A lot of building damage and just like you can just push tower solo a lot of times. I'm surprised how much damage Diabolic Edict does to towers. It's actually insane. Lychee's Lina is like pretty good actually. Very good. Probably somewhere above like Shadow Fiend. Just good nukes, good damage, good burst. Has late game potential with her right clicks. Lion mid is very shit. Oh man, people play Lion mid all the time, dude. It's so bad. I play Lion mid just for fun. I'll put it like one spot above Ricky just because why not. Next up we got Nature's Prophet. Nature's Prophet. You have global presence, but you're so fucking weak, man. Treants don't do anything. You just right click people and you die in the mid lane so easily. I want to say he's like worse than Elk, honestly. Just don't play Nature's mid. Necro mid could be very good against a lot of heroes. I want to say Necro's more reliable than Huskar. So, more reliable than Brood, probably. Somewhere here. Maybe better than DK, even. I'll put him right here, actually. Right here is pretty good. That's about it. So, overall, pretty good station. Ogre Magi. I feel like I'm giving Alk not enough credit, guys. Ogre Magi is probably right here. Might have to boost Alk a little bit. Alk's probably like under Arc Warden, but like probably somewhere here, man. I think Alk is. I'm not giving Alk enough credit. You know what? Just because I like him, I'm gonna put it at the top of their tier. He got a full tier upgrade, guys. Next up we got Oracle, not legit. OD. Okay, OD is a big one. OD is very strong. way too much damage and just like pretty good. You have a really strong control. Like right here, slap it right here. That's where OD belongs. I think it's legit. Next up we got Puck. Puck definitely like right under Invoker right there. Pugna somewhere behind Shadow Fiend. You got a lot of tower damage, and the Netherward counters a lot of heroes, guys. Especially they don't have any good stuns or silences. Kwop, yo, Kwop is actually like sim tier, but I think Kwop is kind of weak, man. Probably under like Bat Rider even. I feel like Kwop, because her dagger doesn't do nearly as much impact as it did before. And I feel like a lot of times, because there's so many bottles and stuff going on, the amount of sustain people have is way beyond how much damage you can do. And that kind of sucks. You have to be really good at Kwop to be good at her now. So I want to say she's like slightly above Pugnan. That's it. She used to be really good. Rubik is like weird. I don't know. Probably somewhere like here. Above Grim. Next we got Shadow Demon. Shadow Demon is very fucking niche. So I'll say he's like somewhere here. Just not good overall. Don't get me wrong, Shadow Demon is just super strong, but I just rather you play him as a 5 than mid lane, because why would you play him as a 5? Just doesn't make sense. Shadow Shaman, same thing. Why would you play him as mid? Now people do, and it's okay. Silencer is probably like behind Arc Warden as in strength, because you're kind of like a ranged Ursa in a way that you stack your attacks and you do more and more damage. So that could be good in some cases.